main farmer. She's our farm operations coordinator. She runs the field. She helps with run this business, and she's super important to us. To my left is another important person, my mother, Tracy Geyer. And this right here in the white outfit is Carol Ann Sayle. She is the founder, the owner, and the pioneer farmer that has kept this alive all these years.
Cheers!
She's also my grandmother. Counts for something as well. So Tracy's going to start us off talking about the history of the land that we are all standing on today.
It's going to be pretty sweet and simple and quick because there's 3 of us to speak, but I don't know how many of you have, or raise your hand if you're local to Austin. Awesome. How about if you've ever been to Boggy Creek Farm before? Yay! Woohoo! Welcome back. And to anyone who has not, who didn't raise their hand, we welcome you and we hope that you will be back someday. We do have an Airbnb here on the property, so just give me a shout. My email is on the bottom of every page of our website. We'll get you hooked up. So the settlers the home behind this lovely vintage thing is even older than this. It was first, the pioneer farmer came from North Carolina in 1832, and he came because there was the temptation of Mexican land grants and wonderful growing land, and he was a farmer. So he came first with a son to scout it all out and scooped up this piece of land, and then he eventually got back home and brought his entire family. He had 6 children, a wife, 19 slaves, probably a dog or so, I don't know, but they came in wagons with oxen and got here in 1838 and started farming immediately. They grew corn, wheat, and cotton. They actually didn't start building this house till a little bit later, but they were using the land to grow food. This house was completed over the winter of 1840 and 1841, and we give credit to the slaves because we know that they were growing the food. They were growing the crops. They built this home, and it's a beautiful thing. If you're ever around, we do offer historic home tours. It's really cool to see everything was built on site here when they put this thing together. It was they made everything except the glass. That had to come from the United States because this was Texas, the Republic of Texas. And so we didn't have a place to make glass here yet. But we definitely honor the slaves for this amazing piece of art that they built for my parents to live in, for many people to live in, and to be the anchor of this beautiful place and farmland. In 1841, Christmas Eve, President of the Republic of Texas, Sam Houston, came here to have a dinner. It was a wedding reception, and he even spent the night. He wrote letters all the time to his wife, Margaret. He wrote home to her and said, all about it, all the little details, because they didn't talk on the phone. They wrote every detail, how beautiful the bride was, and how great the food was. He said the food doings were first rate through and through. And so we take great pride in the fact that this has always been a place where good food has been grown. And so over the years, since the Smith family, they owned it for a long time, but then there were many other families, not many. There were about 7 other families who held the deed, but only the Smiths, 1 other family, and us really worked it. And for most of the years of its existence, it has been a farm, growing food for the community. And Jack.
With that said, so Carol Ann Sayle and her late husband, Larry Butler, bought and started this farm in 1992. When they arrived here, it had been sitting vacant long enough to be vandalized, and only 2 of the original doors were left on the building. And the fields, well, they weren't farming fields. It was 6 feet high, and weeds and poison ivy, and hiding behind all the grass was 5 jalopies. They were abandoned, and just thousands and thousands upon thousands of golf balls. Someone was practicing their swing. And so over the past 30 years, We've all been, lovingly restoring the house at great expense, and have, I think, brought the field back to its glory days. And we're serving the community of Austin the freshest, healthiest, and most nutritious vegetables that you can get pretty much anywhere. And with that said, cheers. And with that said, I'm gonna swing it over to Ashley, and she's gonna tell y'all a little bit about how we grow here.
Yes, so for about 20 years, they were certified organic here at Boggy Creek Farm, and after getting tired of jumping through government hoops, decided to drop that certification. And then we became something even better. We became regenerative. And so that means that we are nurturing the soil, and so that there is nutrients stored in the soil for the crops. And so that we're not depleting the soil, we're giving life to it. When we make our own compost here, you might see those two big piles, and you're like, what are those? Those are our compost piles, and we make that and we put it onto every bed that we plant in. And that's our main source of fertilizer and life that we give to the soil and to the plants. And that's where it all comes from, and it goes full circle. If you see our chickens, they give us their glorious poop to add to the compost piles. And then, we feed the crops to everybody, and the leftovers go to our chickens, and they start it all over again. And that's what it's really about. And we get to sell it here at our market right behind all of y'all. That's our on-site market. It's open Wednesdays through Saturdays, 8 to 1. And we harvest the day of all of our fresh produce, and we also support local providers. We have local bought-in items. If you get a chance, we might open it up after the dinner tonight. And so we'll have cheeses, frozen meats, we have honey, mushrooms. Mushrooms and produce aren't available today, but all the other wonderful things, and we hope to see you in there. And another, thanks, Jack. And another great part of our market is getting to make connections with customers. One customer who's been coming here for years, every single week, is Kevin from Barley Swine. And so this is why it's super important to us to have him here tonight, cooking this wonderful food, bringing it full circle, connecting with the community, local, and everybody visiting as well.
And I have a feeling that the food doings are going to be first rate. All right. Yep, that's it. The end.
Are we going to do 2 groups?
Oh yeah, we're going to do tours now.
So we're going to do tours, and Jack will be manning the market if you do want